Yeah, according to what I have seen right here. Both the Uganda rugby men and of course women's team have failed probably to make it through or to qualify because they were eliminated in the quarterfinals of the rugby Olympic repechage tournament that was in Monaco, and this is a very key moment in there now. The Lady Rugby's Cranes tried everything possible to see that they get themselves through, but of course they had a promising performance in the first 2-3 games, but later on when they had that moment and shown the promises to see that they got into the way, things did not work the way they expected. Likewise too, that is the men or the men team that also tried its level best to see that they get to the Olympics, but now it is not as expected right there because there was a 22-0 defeat for the ladies by that is Czech Republic, whereas the men team also were in Pool B and couldn't really go against China that Saturday. So it was a very big one, and this game did see also them facing that is the formidable South Africa side, which also saw them push into the quarterfinals, but Ugandan men were over, of course, powered by that is the team and lost to 26-0 right there. So all those are some of the big things that have happened in the rugby. So Uganda now has no team that will be representing in the Olympics, and that is one thing someone could be asking why and how. That is one big of course sporting discipline that in Uganda you can talk about and maybe achieve something, but this time around it was not the way. What next?
I think over the time or over the months, Uganda has been winning in a lot of gold medals, a lot of bronze and all that, and that bit of it I think it did have a toll on them, where of course now I should say the hard work that they've always put up to see to it that they go in that in all games and win and all that. I think some little bit of pride crept in that they didn't notice, and that literally has, of course, costed them. I mean, this is one of the sports disciplines, just like you said, where we've always known that once we go in there, we're coming back with gold. Once we go in there, we're always going to be winners. And by the way, this is very shameful because recently in the All African Games, how do you go in there and come back with gold, and then you fail to book a slot in various Olympics? I mean, something went wrong somewhere. What next they have to do is just to get back to the drawing board and reorganize themselves and find out where the loopholes were and tighten in the loopholes and be ready to get back bigger and better for the next games that are yet to come.
Yes, that's one big one, but of course if you look at how the teams tried pushing in there, things worked their way, and probably tried seeing that things push in there. Now as I talk, Uganda being out already means that they will have challenges to push, but at the same time I want to say that is the team now that have qualified. You'll be having China, and you will also be having the team of South Africa that will be going through and securing the final place in the Paris 2024 Olympics games that will be taking place in the rugby, of course in the rugby sevens competition that will be there. Now of course these groupings, all the Olympic groupings were already made, with Group A having of course the team of New Zealand, then having Fiji, not forgetting of course Canada and China, who qualified yesterday in the women's team. Group B has Australia, Ireland, and of course Great Britain, that was also right there, and South Africa, that is also pushing rightly. And then Group C has France, USA, and then Japan, not forgetting of course Brazil. So that means the two teams fit in Group A and B respectively, China and South Africa, that of course made it through. Uganda couldn't make it through in the ladies category yet again. But else in the men's team, the rugby men's team also had a very interesting one with New Zealand in Group A, and then Ireland in Group B, South Africa, I mean it's still in Group A by the way, South Africa also in Group A, then Japan will also be in Group A. You have Argentina, that is in Group B. You have Australia, that is in Group B, and then Samoa, and not forgetting of course Kenya. So Samoa is right alongside Kenya, and one of the East African countries that is representing is Kenya. Group C has Fiji, they have France and USA and Uruguay right there. So which group looks to be tough?
By the way, this time around, almost all the groups look to be very tough in there. If you look at Group A, just like you've just given us, are we continuing?
Yeah.
If you look at Group A, just like you've given us, Group A, Group B up to, I think, up front, where the groupings get to finalize themselves, you'll actually get to realize that all these groups, by the way, are very tough. And in there, most of the groups would really actually want to come through past there is the group stages. So basically, to me, I think all those groups are very tough, unless otherwise, because now I was going to say where a team Uganda would be possibly could be a very easy group, because we've already seen them go in there, we've already seen them emerge winners, beat all the opponents and all that, and we've all most of the times been following there is our own team Uganda, regardless of the other teams or the other countries that are representing. This time around that our country is not representing, trust me, every other country that has been able to go in there in all those groupings is first of all very tough, because we failed to beat them to, of course, book in a slot in those groupings in there. So to me, I think every other group to me now is very tough, unless otherwise after the group stages in there.
Now, of course, that's one big one that we're looking into, but also elsewhere, Uganda still keeps making headlines, because after the Uganda Cranes continued with their, of course, downward, let's say, performance that has happened in there. In the latest FIFA ranking, by the way, now Uganda has been positioned to 94th globally and 20th on that is the African continent. This drop comes after, of course, a mixed performance, if you have seen, and yet they were a very good side before in there. In Africa, you getting to that moment, and in the FIFA ranking, you're also dropping. What does that mean for Uganda? Are we trying to see the best?
That's why I said it's very shameful, where in the recently concluded All African Games, possibly some positions that certain countries attained, they could still be celebrating it and all that. We went in there and came back with gold and all that, and then all of a sudden we are failing to book in a slot for Olympics. I mean, that's why I say something is wrong somewhere. Because the rankings came through after, of course, the All African Games, where we did collecting most of the gold and all that. That's where now we came in through to the position where we are right now. And then with all that position, we failed to, go in the other side to represent. This is a little bit shameful, but then that's why I said something is wrong somewhere, because when it comes to rugby, when it comes to cricket, when it comes to netball, trust me, and even athletics, these are sports disciplines where we've never failed anywhere at all costs, whether there is support, whether there are sponsors, whether there are no sponsors, we've always gone in there to win. And this time around, there should be something, and basically us, Team Uganda, with that position up there, and then you know where to be seen. Trust me, it's not a very good one.
Uganda used to be ranked at 92nd before all this went wrong, but now they have gone to 94th. That means they have dropped in their performances. Everything that has come in there has made them drop, because this was made on 4th April, that assessment, and things worked out to see that this needed to be pushed. So now, as I talk, that victory against, of course, the team of Botswana was a key one, and in case they had won against Liberia, maybe could be seeing them either maintain or, of course, change something into their way through. But now it wasn't the way or the case right there. This is how the top 10 rankings are. The next FIFA ranking update is said to be released on 18th July 2024, with, of course, in the world top 10, Argentina leads the table, France comes second, Belgium, then there's Brazil, not forgetting England, and Portugal, and then number 7 is Netherlands, number 8 is Spain, and number 9 is Croatia, number 10 is Italy. As for Africa, It is the top 10 countries or nations. Morocco leading right there. Senegal, who of course are ranked 18th. Morocco is ranked 12th in the FIFA ranking. Senegal is ranked 18th in this in the FIFA ranking, and they are the second. 36th ranking is Egypt in the FIFA ranking, but in Africa they are number 3rd. Ivory Coast are number 4th in Africa, but they are ranked 37th in the FIFA ranking. Number 5th is Nigeria, with of course in Africa in the FIFA ranking they are 38th. Tunisia is at number 6, and in the FIFA ranking as I talk they are 41st. And then 7th on the ranking is Algeria, but in the FIFA ranking they are number 44th. 8th is the team of Cameroon, and in the FIFA ranking they are at 49th. Then 9th is Mali, and in the FIFA ranking they are 50th. 10th is South Africa, and in the FIFA ranking they are 59th. So these countries, or these nation countries, have done everything possible to make sure that they achieve what is required of them, and indeed things are working well for them. So we're expecting change probably in this, because I'm seeing Ingdia Moses Magogo looking onto the standards that he needs to set in Uganda's football, maybe to change things, work out. And this time around, if you look at the names, because of a few names that came through, you could say they really tried. But local based players is what Magogo says he now needs to entrust. In fact, people and the coaches need to trust and entrust in. Would that yield something? Because he said the league, if you believe in yourself, do the best in your league, local league, then you can achieve it right there. He gave example of Dennis Omedi, the likes of Ronald Semakula, the names like Mohamed Shaban. He gave examples of such players. So do you agree with his statement of that kind? He said they will not be going for foreign-based players, or foreign players who, country players who play in the foreign world
league. I think I think now they're getting down to trust in their own. But then, so long as we continue trusting foreign coaches, trust me, it's also going to be a little bit complicated trusting in there is our own locally made talent in here. Yeah, the examples he has given are quite very right, because basically if you look at the names that he has given, trust me, he's very right, because these are people that were born here, they were bred here. I mean, it is the talent that has been nurtured in here. And okay, one of them, maybe there is Mohamed Shaban. We've seen him cross out and come back and shine in here. So basically, I think with that, he's quite right, but not all that, because all this will be achievable once we trust in our own, starting from the coaches up to the reserve players. But now, if we are trusting the homemade players, and then we still bring in, or we still trust in there is a foreign coaches, trust me, there is still going to be some little bit of colliding in there. But then if we are to make it better, we should both trust our own made people here, from there is the players to the coaches and every other stakeholder that, trust me, will propel us to a better position in all the rankings.
Now, that apart from that, there's also another big one coming right now. The former Uganda Cranes duo has been appointed as Wachiso Giants Cranes, and these are two good players who have been for, that is the country right here. They have appointed, that is Stephen Bengo. I don't know when or how long you've heard about Stephen Bengo. And then there's Tony Maweje, who they have also appointed to lead, that is the club's technical team right there, according to the local paper. And this time around it was Sports Nation that reported that to very many. And Stephen Bengo, you know what he has been. He took part in the role of head coach, and with Tony Maweje now serving as his assistant coach. But the decision brings on to an end of that is John Ayala and Luyinda, who has been the team right there. Is this a good one? I've loved one thing, that former players are really doing, are encouraged to, of course, up their game and become coaches. Something which is very, very fruitful for the nation, because we've been looking for what coaches, which coaches to come in here and there. But now Stephen Bengo, for him he has been there, by the way, for Stephen Bengo, I think as an assistant right there. But for Tony Maweje, he's now coming in, of course, as a new entrant right there. Development in the coaching world seems to be one key thing that teams are taking for purposes of being the best, and I believe that is going to help a lot because there are a lot of things that are coming. Now, Stephen Bengo and Maweje, what will the combination be? The two have played together for Uganda Cranes, and they have also been in there in different clubs for Uganda. I mean in Uganda, in the Ugandan League. I'm talking about the top tier, which is the Super League.
I think Wakiso Giants is one team that should be watched this coming season over sometimes Regional Premier League season. There is a 2024 or 2025 because one, trust me, these people during their times of active football, they were doing very well. Trust me, they were doing very well, and they did leave a positive footmark onto onto Ugandan football. Any other place you go to, be it home here, be it in the outside clubs that are basically international clubs that they played for and all that. So I think the duo basically being it that they've ever played together, that they understand football so well. And trust me, by the way, if you've been watching the two, ever since they retired, they have been following local football very closely. By the way, you get to spot them in most of the local football fixtures. You get to spot them in the local football fixtures, local football games and all that, including the recently first leg games that Team Uganda took part in at Nambole and all that. You'd basically see the two, even in trainings and all that. So this literally should tell us that these two people understand the local football, they understand the players, and this time around coming through to be coaches at our Wakiso Giants. Trust me, we should expect something bigger because one, they understand the game, they understand the local bit of it and everything. So basically, to me, I think they are going to add up a lot to Wakiso Giants because we did see Wakiso Giants not doing so well in the recently concluded season, and I think whoever advised them to bring in these former good players actually did the right thing, and basically they will contribute a lot to there is our Wakiso Giants come this season.
Wakiso Giants finished 11th on the log last season with 32 points last season, of course making sure that the 7 points above the drop, because they were also fighting for relegation right there, which helped them a lot because they had to fight and make sure that things worked out. But at the same time, I want to give just a little background of the two team players who are right there. If you look at Tony Maweje, in fact Stephen Bengo, he was with Wakiso Giants as a trainer some time back, and before he left and went and did his CAF B. Right now he's a CAF B holder right in the country, and of course doing very well. So he has been with the team before he left. Of course now he has been appointed back as a head coach right here to see that he takes the team. That is after, first of all, a long term that he has been off. That is the thing, but he has been doing coaching and then of course also following Ugandan League, right, just like Susan said. This is not going to be a new thing because it will be like a homecoming for him at the home of Wakiso Giants, which is of course a very big thing because just from Wakiso Giants to here, it's an additional plus to such a team like of course of the team, because he went and coached a team called Bushenyi Veterans and Wembley, and then of course he was a success now as a head coach. For Maweje, he's of course set to bring also his second coaching role following of course his departure from the FUFA Women's Super League side. I'm talking about Kampala Queens that he was coaching, and of course indeed now he will be looking forward to see that this is it. So just like Bengo and Maweje, Maweje's appointment as assistant coach is expected to bring just like we say a fresh perspective of football, and of course different new ideas of a football club that will be coming right there. So those are some of the bigger moments in there, but I believe that will change a lot of things into that is the Wakiso Giants, and I've loved the way that Wakiso Giants has gone there and have never returned back to relegation ever since also they joined the league in Uganda. So it's one of the interesting thing that is there. I did say about three players, Ronald Sechiganda, and of course the man by the names of I think Marvin. Yes, Marvin, who is one name that is being Gavin. I know Marvin, but Gavin Kizito, Patrick Jonah Kakande, and Ronald Sechiganda. Yesterday I told you that they are already saying that these players shall be, of course, sent out of the Sports Club Villa due to indiscipline cases. And here I discussed, of course, in length about it, but I don't know what Susie's part would be like. Susie, would that be a good one? Because for me, I said yesterday, there's no player, there's no any other person who is going to be bigger than a company, not even a football club. And a football club will always remain a football club. Whether a certain player is there or it's not there, the football club will still exist, and the football club will still get players right there. But players need to give respect to clubs right there. And this is now what, of course, Sports Club Villa wants to show to players that, yes, because you have appeared in the national team, it's because of Sports Club Villa, because you've been playing at Sports Club Villa, you got the opportunities at Sports Club Villa to make sure that you are through. So now you again want to, people already in camp, they have refused to report, citing that the monies have not yet been paid. I am meant to know that is it. So what would be your take of the decision that the club is to take?
These people striking over delayed title winning cup bonuses, I think that is the basic reason that has been stated there for them to actually strike in. The few that have come through to strike, see what has costed them. I mean, whoever pushed them or whoever gave them this idea literally did a very wrong thing, because one, you are not the only people that won in the title for the club. This was a teamwork, this was group work, including the administrators, including a few of the stakeholders and all that. So basically they really did blunder, because this trophy or this title that they won came through as teamwork. So basically indiscipline is one thing, by the way, that is not tolerated anywhere in football. Indiscipline has costed a lot of players even internationally. So basically, once you are complaining because of some little monies that everyone contributed to, trust me, it really costs you. And now that other players are settling in the camp, I really don't know where next it is going to be for them. This is quite a very wrong one, and I think this is quite a very good one that Villa has done. A lot of the players have to take a leave and bear a leave from this. Every other person has to, of course, be disciplined, just like you had said, Mr. Owen. No one is actually bigger than the club. With or without you as a player, trust me, the club will move on. The club has been there, the club has existed before you came through, and probably maybe as your term also runs out, the club will still exist minus you. So discipline is something that is very key, that players have to learn from, and basically it propels you to greater heights. That is, if you're very disciplined and loyal to your club.
A big bang on that is the teams of big teams from that is the Uganda Premier League, and we are taking a break because 13 names have been released from UPDF, according to the reports that are coming right here now. UPDF has released over 13 players due to, of course, one or two reasons that they will not be, of course, giving them contracts right come 2024-2025 season. Let's take a break. We'll be right back shortly.